Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 7 of Yoti, our vanilla Cities Skylines 2 build. I hope you're having a wonderful day, having tremendous amounts of fun in this project as we continue to explore just what vanilla Cities Skylines 2 has to offer. And today we're going to head back to the other side of the city from where we was last episode, building up the low rent estate over there on the south side of town. We've also got some naming to do as well today. We have this town to name, alongside some of the outside connections as well, so we'll do that. But the primary focus for today is really going to be beginning what I envision will become an over time growing educational institute. This is going to be the university, and we will be taking inspiration from Cornell, which is a very famous Ivy League institution in Ithaca, New York, of course, which this map is based upon. So it would absolutely make sense for us to be taking inspiration from this campus. Now this will be a mix of all different education levels for me, but I'm going to pretend it's one giant university campus. But this is really going to function as kind of like a massive education centre, if you like, for the city. So let's grab some tiles. We'll grab... I need both of these, aren't I? I really hate tile upkeep. I'll probably turn it off at some point, to be honest. So we do have a little bit of awkwardness here. So this map has unfortunately just slightly flooded a little bit here on the water. That's why I use the waterfront homes here. But we can just take this away, I think, by doing a little bit of terraforming here just to help ourselves. Honestly, the contour lines of the highway there should be pretty perfect for that. So I just want to take the height and then draw it up and over, and that will cover the water level there. And then I'm not bothered about pushing this height everywhere. I can quite easily just blend that back in now, you know, with a little bit of soften. You can hardly tell it's there. But it should just get rid of the water for us. I think when Bridges and Ports releases and those keys arrive, we'll probably key a lot of this up to make it look more like a canal rather than a stream. A bit more of a sort of engineered waterway, if you like, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. If you will enjoy the pun. Brilliant. Right. Let's draw up some road networks, and just so we can connect to these guys here with their bridge connections. So now we've crossed over in terms of the grid orientation here, I now want to follow this direction. So pretty much from this one, right, is exactly where I want to be forming up the grid that flows around here. It's kind of an interesting thing where it kind of meets and splits multiple times here across Ithaca. It's I'm sure Editing Egg will be leaving us up plenty of footage to see the reference point here. So hopefully you can see what I'm trying to do. This road here, I'm now also going to upgrade to 4-lane. All the way out of the city. Again, this will likely become significant road infrastructure as it develops out here, probably into a couplet system as it forms a bit more of a highway, if you like. But now we have that in there. What I want to do, I mean, what do we have there? Pretty much 2 tiles of space. Let's bring in a little road here. Now we can see that. Let's do... I think that's probably about the same there, isn't it? I'm just trying to get the same distance either side of the waterway here. I think that's more what I'm after there. But by doing it this way, you can see the grids are still perfectly matching across the water there because we've aligned to this grid system here. So remember what we spoke about in episode 1. Everything's still aligned, everyone's still wonderfully happy. And then I can just form this new grid off of here. Now I'm going to wait before connecting it into the other one. Because again, I want to keep as many whole grids as possible. Super. So that's an awful lot of fun. So in Ithaca, the university itself is actually much more on this hillside, but I'm going to build it a little bit further down here to really occupy this space today. So let's come into our development tree, and we're going to grab university, and we'll grab that. 32 points. I might also grab the Geological Research Center. That's a nice building. The technical universities and the medical universities will probably go in other towns because they're absolutely enormous. They'll entirely fill this space on their own, those buildings. And let's have a look at what we have to play with now. How much budget do we have to play with? Making 100,000 an hour. We're pretty alright at the minute, aren't we? So let's come down to universities. So I'm also looking to satisfy college demand as well today. Now, in terms of our first college, we could have a look at, I think, the Modern Community College. It's only 5,000 capacity. I only have 2,000 eligible at the minute. So that will last us for a little while longer yet. I think I'd like to use this as our sort of main entrance building in here, right? So this will be the main road through this bit of town. This is quite Yeah, this is the important arterial road, isn't it? This one here. And I'd like it to remain that as well. I might even, do you want to bump this up to 4 lane? I might even do, you know. We can at least keep it asymmetric, I think, quite a lot of the way, can't we? I think just those extra turning lanes at the important junctions down this road. And then let's connect this in, because I'm actually really interested to see just how much this road here we're building right now is going to steal traffic from this central couplet system that really currently occupies a lot of the road network. Let's just make a small slope here too. No, we're not too sharp, we? Hopefully we'll have room to actually place a roundabout there with a rail. We actually might not have enough room. No, it's fine. We'll have to move that at a later date then. At least for right now, it can just stay there. And we definitely don't want any traffic lights here either. And I might even pop back to 4-lane highway around this area. Just so we can have some fun with some of these little slip lanes that can just peel off here to help people turn towards the university, which you imagine is going to be a pretty popular exit, isn't it? I feel like. Fantastic. And then let's keep this going as 3-lane. We'll have it go like that. That should just help keep things flowing for us since we can't fit a roundabout in there. But once that tile here opens, which I'm thinking, by the way, is going to be a bit of a city centre. A few towers around here, a few more offices, maybe signature building or two. To sit across somewhere with the bridges and port stuff that I'm planning for Yogley. Should be exciting. Anyway, back to the campus. If I can finally stop being distracted by roads, everyone, you'll have to excuse me. There are lots of landscaping up here. Definitely some parks as well, I think. Let's make sure we accommodate those. So I would love to do, I think, like a canopy covered park on the way up here. Kind of like a unique configuration, if you like, of some of these smaller parks here. So let's do 2 of these on the outside and see what we can make here. I think Hedge Park is the one, but we don't want to snap to the road edge here. And we can just have it a tile away, pretty much as best as I can judge it. That looks about right. It's probably not, but it's okay. And of course, this happens again, doesn't it? Let me get the right texture here. Again, please add an option to make this a toggleable option. Finally, God, that takes far too long. So this little park has a stage on it, and I think I'd love to have, perhaps you could almost imagine actually the host graduation there, actually. Kind of in front of the main building, if you like. And I think with some of these roads around the edge here, I wouldn't mind actually having some of them as parking. Not all the way up though. Why don't we box it off along the entrance to park there? And then we can have the roads behind that function as the car parking roads. Which are going to be slightly off, but I'm happy for them to kind of slightly cave in like that. I think that'll just make our road network a little bit more interesting. Wonderful. And then of course, our first building, which we have decided, is going to be the modern community college. This can sit right here. Which also unlocks the Eastern European office for us, which is another very university-esque looking building, isn't it? We'll probably get that on the campus today as well. But this is going to be one of many entrances into this education campus, right? One of many sight lines I want to develop. If we look at the campus on Google Earth, it's just a selection of signature buildings, basically. It's all just these big historical monuments and very old educational buildings. Does this have any upgrades to it? It does indeed. We can add 1,000 capacity, 800 capacity, and attractiveness. I immediately always want the sports field present, right? And I wouldn't mind having this in and around the campus itself. So let's begin to introduce some pedestrian roads into the development here. And we'll line up pretty much there. And this can run off into the campus. We'll take this down to the waterfront. We've got to play within the campus here too. We've also got a pretty severe hill, which will have to be terraformed, I think, because playing on that without the anarchy is going to be a nightmare. So we'll do some terraforming just to ease out the gradient up to the lake up here, I think. So that'll be a much gradual slope, I reckon. I'll almost kind of isolate the lake on its own little bit of land, I think, and then slope lower than the lake is how that will work. And then I want this pedestrian road running 3 tiles away from this first bit of entrance. I suppose we can have it go down to the road. Yeah, I'm not against that at all. And then let's grab that sports field. Just look at that, it pretty much fits and sits. Yes, please, everyone. It was meant to be. It was meant to be. Right. Love that. So big sports field right in the campus itself. Really like that. Super cool. Might even knock this next door, actually. Yeah, I think we'll actually have that there. Maybe even, sorry, I'm being very pedantic about this exact particular placement, or just the way I want the actual green field orientated. That's what I want, yeah. And then another big building here. So let's have a look at more education values. That gives us plenty of college capacity for right now. So my idea of this is that every time we need that little college buff or increase, we're going to come over here and expand this education complex, right? That's how the vision working. Obviously, other towns will have their own colleges, but for the town which we will name today, we need to name because I can't just keep calling it this town. It keeps happening. We'll do that in a second. Yeah, this will be the big center for education, right? So let's address university education now. We have a number of options, all of which are pretty expensive. Immediately, the Japanese one is jumping out at me. We'll save these for elsewhere. I'm not a massive... I do like the vanilla university. How much does it hold? 15,000? Japanese is 12.5. Modern university, 8,500. Let's place in the modern university as well, okay? Again, this has a number of capacity upgrades as and when we need them. That one there adds 8,500 student capacity, does it? Holy smokes. The library. That's amazing. It's a really nice campus building as well, isn't it? Goodness me. Really like that one. We can even place that over here, you know, which I think I'm going to do immediately. Let's also get some grass on these streets as well, right? I love a grass line road. Which hopefully help them park on the parking roads too. We need to be able to do this to pedestrian roads. I don't know why we can't do that yet, actually. Let's also get these tree lines on the outside too. So already, just as a bit of campus facility, this already looks so cool, right? And that's pretty much satiated the current city's demands, at least for the top two tiers. We're going to include high school and elementary as well today, of course. No, it's not hit our budget too hard, has it? It has a bit, yeah. We went from 100,000 to that, but that should be quite nice. We'll start getting people educated at those higher levels now. Discussing housing around here, I want lots of row homes. Looking around the streets of Ithaca, there is actually a town next door to Cornell University that is literally just called College Town, and you get on the street view, it's kind of like funky apartments and lots of row homes. So with the row homes, I think we'll go... Yeah, there's quite a mix as well. They're quite old and modern, these places. I think I want to go... How deep will northeast row homes grow? 4x4 here. You know what, if I'm going to go older row homes, I think we're actually going to go vanilla. Vanilla North American, I think, is what I'm after there instead. Because they will grow 6 deep, and they do look quite old, which I think is really what I want around here, especially for the row home housing. If it's like College Town, university is hundreds of years old. The chances are the homes around it are going to be as well, right? I don't want like these flat pack cardboard American homes made out of twigs and berries, right? I want kind of old bricks and mortar over here. I mean, even though this campus over here is quite modern, eventually it will have the older buildings that make it look a little bit older, right? We hope anyway. And we'll try to do lots of different vibes around here today. So with this road here, I just want to see if we can almost bring it straight across on an angle there, which looks like we can. And again, I'm going to do that same trick over here, so I'm looking to connect into the grid frame. You can feel the cursor snap in, so you know it's aligned to that grid across the river. And that's really what I'm looking for there. Going to keep everything nice and neat. Here, I wonder if we've got the capacity to mess about with some highway roads instead. I think we do, and then I wouldn't mind a little something like that. Can we get away with that? It's quite steep, isn't it? Yeah, I think that little bit of terraforming there just certainly helps the situation, doesn't it? And it's even stayed as elevated bridge, which gives us a little bit of a safety barrier there as well, which is quite nice, isn't it? So we can just have that peel off, and we can probably do this in a number of locations as well, actually, if we wanted to. Let's have these little one-way directional roads that ease pressure around. Have these small junctions that don't have roundabouts on, but we probably could put one in valid shape. What's holding you back there? I'm actually not even sure. Maybe the junction is just too stretched, probably. But I kind of like the stretch junction there, you know. So I'm probably going to keep it in just as it is. And then turn off those traffic lights as well, of course. And now the asymmetry also needs to change. We do need to transfer power and water over here, because not connected over the bridges, of course. Yeah, we're also due in need of a power upgrade as well at some point. We're massively paying to import power at the moment. I'd kind of got lost on that, actually. You know what, in CS2, because they do allow facility import, these guys are really flooded over here, aren't they? I might have to tear this out. Can we tie this into the law? Can we say for some reason this street is permanently flooded? To be honest, it's kind of nice to see some wet roads, because the rain doesn't really affect them, does it? It makes it look like it's very heavily rained for a brief period in that one specific spot in the city, right? Yeah, this is what I want, right? This is what I want. And then I wouldn't mind some of those northeast apartments knocking about as well, I think. Maybe even I'll use the southwest as a bit of a contrast. Because again, like I mentioned, if you look on Google Earth around this place, there is a mix of housing, if you like. It's not all one style. Let's now bring in more pedestrian roads as we start to expand this facility. Let's do same thing we did out the other side. We'll do it that way. And that can pretty much go all the way down to that other road, to be honest. That'll give us a nice spine for the rest of the campus to form up around, I think. With this building here, what I'd love to do is have it pedestrian to a point, like there, and then make that first section parking roads, which it will allow if you force it. Although maybe alleyway parking is probably what I'm thinking of there. Yeah, we have to upgrade at that angle, don't we? Because it'll collide with the building otherwise. Then how about let's make that a little bit of a parking loop, so you can come in here and then it breaks off into a little sort of one-way parking network, and then back down into one of those roads again. Really can't stress how much of a great addition those parking roads have been to vanilla. What I would do for those in Cities 1, right? Because they are essentially the parking roads asset pack, aren't they? Let me address silly traffic lights down here. Gotta wish there was a way to just turn them off by default, right? And of course, everyone, what's the point of a pedestrian road if you're just going to drive on it 62? What are you doing? Why? You're supposed to go park somewhere else and then walk here. Or whatever. And see where the road is. So exactly what we've just done down the other side, right? Let's make this road. And the pedestrianisation can start where there is no car parking. And I'll also do some more road upgrades here too. Let's wide sidewalk one side and then grass the other. We already see how busy this road is, right? Holy crap. Didn't I turn you off? Spend half my time turning traffic lights off. This is a busy old road, isn't it? I reckon we might need that roundabout down here, you know? If we're not going to go 4-lane, because I don't really want to go 4-lane if I can help it. Although looking at it, we probably might have to, you know? The AI is going to love this, isn't it? And when the big road's here, this is only going to get busier. Yeah, I think we're going to have to 4-lane this. I know it's a little bit of one more lane, bro, but it's kind of needed here, I think. Sorry, Southwest apartments, you have to regrow. Let's have that up there, and then I'm just going to change the approach of these two roads as we do actually add in that roundabout. We're going for quite a large one here as well. And something quite developed. I want it to almost be a bit of a landmark roundabout for the university. Perhaps. Very large metallic roundabout with flower bed. It's quite fancy, isn't it? I do quite like that. And then we'll just change the approach on these roads now. I almost wonder if I can come from the middle of the roundabout here and go straight up through the pedestrian road there. And then we can have this as a bit of a admin service road into campus, if you like. And again, just for a little bit of, just a touch of one more lane, bro, if you like. We're just going to come in with 4 lanes over here. Back down to this road. We'll lose some homes, but it's fine. They'll easily regrow. Already that's immediately eased that congestion, hasn't it? That's just flowing much smoother now. is going to be really important road. That I know it's not perfectly lined up though, isn't it? I don't mind that though. It changes shape and angles all the way down, doesn't it? It's still a pretty cool sight line. So we want elementary today. Again, let's keep this kind of in the theme of modern. I do actually really like the US, Southwest US elementary, which again I think is an asset that wants to be sat on its own road, doesn't it? But really nice building, that one. It's also got some really nice additional upgrades again, like this one has over here too, you know. But really, really fun asset. So I'm going to bring out this one-way road. Let's give it a little curve. Move the traffic light, of course. And then we'll have this positioned here. Let's do something like that. And I think we'll bring back in some more pedestrian road from that point on there as well, I think. Really trying to almost embrace those angle changes around the junctions, you know. I think it adds a lot of interest to the way we build. Wonderful, so I love this. So we're starting to establish that aesthetic across the river, right? We've got the little administration vibes kicking off here. How does that do us for capacity? Still not enough already. You want more, do you? Okay, well, that's fine. So that's capacity, the raw capacity, aren't they? So let's have the annex building maybe over here. And it's going to be a pain. So we'll... Actually, can we have it? Yeah, it fits and sits, doesn't it? Them's the rules, everyone. That's fine. And then let's have some fun with some detail in here, right in the middle of the campus. Let's do... This is almost like kind of playing with the campus DLC, you know? When you do have this many sub-buildings, and they can be placed away from their parent buildings now, it is kind of like... You've got those selection of campus buildings, you know, when you're building in CS1. This is the first kind of unmodded CS2 campus I've really built, you know? But I think it's turned out rather nicely. So obviously surface extensions there. We can even flower bed extension if we dare. Goodness gracious, everyone. Welcome to Cities 2. How about that? No, I think I'll keep it open. I don't want to push my luck. And then maybe some mature birch around here as well. And then a little bit of cultivated green bush too. Yeah, right. There's such a nice little embellishment to the back of the building there, isn't it? Really blends it in. Then I'll happily even extend that surface here across the pathway. When we can then make it into, perhaps can we grab a signature building here, something commercial maybe? The Oasis kitchen, is this big? It is big, isn't it? Not that. Maybe down to the park cafe instead, then we'll place that here. It's after, really after kind of the ploppable park life cafe from CS1. That's the exact asset I want to use right now. But we can make do with CS2's park cafe park instead. And then off the back of this, let's draw in 2 new nodes and just create a little space where we can allocate some tables if you want to sit outside, etc. Then such facility is available. Let's do 2 commercial tables, is that right? And we'll just have a variety of these. Unfortunately, they're all going to vary, and I'm absolutely not waiting here to get them all the same. 100% I'm not doing that. And then we'll get some bins out here as well. And then just some continued landscaping around the edge. We can even bring in that same design we've got on the edge of the asset there as well, which will really help blend it into this little district, I think. So, what tree is that? My CS2 tree knowledge is not there yet. Is that a linden? Could be. It's absolutely not. It looks like a baby London plane, doesn't it, sort of? Okay, so let's have a bunch of London planes all the way down here then. Let's take this tree out as well. That'll be lovely. And then we can see where I want to then create another little exit for those people. And they'll be pretty happy with that. And then just from the back of one extension, you know, from an elementary school, we can fill a whole block with just some props and surface extensions. Really fun. The vanilla detailing is leagues ahead of what CS1 could offer with this sort of stuff, you know. It's really a lot of fun. I see some people moving around here as well. You want to come visit our cafes, I hope? Amazing. So that was one building. Does that even cover our capacity? Probably doesn't really. And wait, are you not... Oh, the annex buildings aren't unique. Holy smokes, everyone. Didn't realise that. I thought they were. Okay, well that's good. We can have the arts and music building. I don't hate that idea. Additional classrooms will chung you up there, won't it? Let's do that then, because I've already got my own car parking, and that actually replaces the car park there, doesn't it? And gives us more London playing on the other side of the building there as well. Let's just take a little span across what's happening here then. So just from some... Like, this is an upgrade. That's an upgrade over there, and that's an upgrade. There's only actually 3 buildings here. But with the upgrades and the detail around them, you can really make them go quite a long way, can't you? I hope that point is coming across today. I'm very excited about it. I hope you are as well. Oh yeah, parking roads getting used as well. Fantastic. How does that do us for elementary demand? Yeah, I'm happy with that now. And then let's allocate a high school to this space as well. Which one do we want to go for here? The modern high school, of course, would go with the other modern institutes we've got here. The Southwest High School is gorgeous, but it's absolutely enormous. Oh, the Chinese high school is very institute looking, isn't it? Oh, yeah. I don't think... That gives me a little bit of an older historical vibe too, you know? Definitely with the columns and the supports there. The landscaping that's begging to be dragged out. Which we absolutely will do. Yeah, and then we can have that sit across from our other older building, the main university, one day when we need that as well, you know? We'll have that there. We should be good for a few more episodes though, really, because we've got a ton of university demand, goodness gracious. It's fine though, that will quickly get eaten up. CS2's population grows much quicker than 1, I find. This doesn't have any upgrades, that's fine. I certainly want to respect this design though. So I think we'll have it right here. Might actually have to delete that road. I spent so much time talking about there, but it can be relocated. But you know what, I'm actually going to throw this on a totally different angle, I think, to the rest of the campus. Bear with me here. You might think, Egg, why are you not aligning it with the grid? It's basically custom made to fit in there already. But you are right, it is. And that's what I was going to do. I think, again, we've spoke many times over the years of playing Cities Skylines together on the channel, that the power of a shifted angle can always help, right? So essentially you want to chuck it, if that's 90 degrees there, let's throw a 45 degree on. Which probably looks something like that, doesn't it? I can visually line that up there. Now let's give it very specific road connections here. So I'm after road there. And then maybe alleyway here on this little side bit of parking, maybe. Try to do something really unique with this building placement if I can. Now what's the minimum road connection I can get away with here? It's about there, is it? Yeah, okay. That keeps us connected. Now with this road here, we'll do something a little bit different with it. Let's do another alleyway. Just till it connects. And then I just want to peel it off and add the smallest decorative roundabout that I can. Yes, something like that, I think. It'll be quite tasty. So again, this will just give us another little detail plaza, even though we're just spending so much time thinking about the front of one of these buildings. I think it will just give us a lot of personality to sit around the campus. Especially considering we're not placing all the assets today either, you know, this thing will grow over time. And then just making sure we're on 180 degrees at the top. And then we can find that perfect spot now where I just want to align those nodes to allow a new 90-degree bend to kind of come down. And then that same thing can happen there. So you want to be careful of doing this on buildings that will upgrade, so zonable buildings basically. Because when they do upgrade, their surfaces kind of reset. So obviously it won't happen here because this one won't reset. And again with this one here, I just want to line it up where you would imagine people of Yoakley can walk back into. We could actually just connect the pedestrian pathway across there to make it walkable, but I'm trying to be quite annoying with the front of this here, right? Because I want this sort of visual, right? which you will see people walk here as well, of course. And we could run the actual pedestrian path down it. I was thinking like we could maybe do... How much do I hate the path on the texture? Is that going to massively annoy me seeing that? It is when it's connected like that, at least. Yeah, okay. I think if I make a much bigger song and dance out of that, I can get away with it. At least then it is literally walkable space as well, you know. So I think we'll go for that instead. I think we'll do the best of both worlds. That way we can keep it walkable. Overlapping items, you sure about that? Would you like to rethink your decisions? There we go. We'll have that go across there as well. So just a really unique building frontage, I think, will help just add much more interest, right? So much better than being placed on a road there, isn't it? And it gives us that kind of, you know, that could, for example, be the medical wing of Corn Egg University. Are we going to go for that? I think I'll go for Corn Egg, right? I mean, that pretty much sells itself, doesn't it? We'll have to do Corn Egg. Of course, you actually don't have a road connection. Goodness gracious, let me fix this. We'll just use the alleyway road to come in by the entrance to the landscape in there. And then that road, to be honest, isn't really needed anymore. And I probably will have some little service roads running around the back of this building. Up to where that will definitely be extended in the future as well, right, as we head up the hill. We can carry on playing with that as we develop the block behind it, if you like. Super, and I reckon in terms of education, we've probably got one more room for another annex building around here, right? I'm gonna place another one of those in there. How are we feeling about our vanilla row homes in the vicinity? Let's have a little look at this. Yeah, I don't mind the modern Southwest apartments around here. Let's definitely get lots of fun commercial. Some nice mixed use out the front of the university as well on this main street. What mixed use do we want to go for? I think I'm probably Southwest inclined. Let's do big block there. And then really mix and match the zone in here if we can. Let's get a post office right on the corner there as well, I think. Just so we've got some high street amenities, if you like, post, cafes, apartments, places to eat and whatnot, right nearby the campus here. Quite a lot of fun. But otherwise, I think that leaves us at a pretty good spot for a detailing time lapse. I have to say, I really love that sight line to the education complex across the city there. Isn't that fun? You can really tell what it is, can't you? I love that. Really like that, actually. Big fan. Yeah, and then carrying detail up all these little spaces we've got available. There's all these little blocks and plazas that have presented themselves that are perfect for detailing and props and some selective, tasteful zoning. And then just tie up the rough edges around our current tile expansion today. And I'll probably place the Vanilla University for the thumbnail for today, I reckon. But we definitely won't keep it in because we don't need it at the minute. But just so it's in there, make sure we reserve the space for that building because I do want it to be featured. And slope up the hill and detail up some awkward spaces that are also across the river from here as well as we begin to move towards this direction of Yokeley, which should be such a nice accompaniment to that eventual downtown we discussed earlier. It's not going to be like a super high-rise downtown, nothing like Bourbon was in Edinburgh. That was very tall. Yeah, but let's also do some naming first as well because we do have some name suggestions from a few episodes ago. So we had a few good shouts for naming the towns after egg dishes. So we're going to do this first one here. This central area of our first area as Benedict, right? And they're going to mark out a new district here just south of the creek. And also Shelton was another great idea that I really liked. So if you like, take it as Yokeley is the state, and then we'll have separate towns all up here, right? And then we'll have this one as Cornegg University, which should be an awful lot of fun. We also, to name it outside connections, someone suggested that we send a train to Biffa's Kettlewick, so we absolutely will do that on the northern train exit, whilst the northern national road connection travels to Jedi Javier's Citadel City. Whilst our southern rail connection goes to Aviation Geeks Denham, whilst our southern road connection goes to Ajax Scott's Poppingham. Thank you for all your suggestions, appreciate it. We'll name the other outside connections as we come to use them. There is still some around the map, I think, isn't there? There's one over here. We'll come to name them once we get over here in many episodes time. Goodness me, look at that already, right? Look how much we've filled in 7 episodes. Really grown up, hasn't it? But an awful lot of fun. Let's detail up our university campus of Cornegg and then we'll be right back. Well, that will do it for today, guys. Let's thank you all so much for watching. This little education complex has turned out super nicely. There's lots of little details packed in with props, dragged out surfaces, and using a whole different combination of education assets. And we'll certainly keep expanding this as those demands begin to increase. There's plenty of room here for expansion. And we'll keep replicating and referencing Cornell as we expand this facility as well. And as it crawls up the hillside, it's going to be a really interesting part of the city, this, I think. Especially as the big national road develops. I think we're going to tie that into a big bridge to go with bridges and ports that goes over the harbour, with that port underneath that. Should be quite fancy. Quite a grand vanilla project, so saving a bit of room for that network expansion to actually happen in the future at some point. We will also fix the flooded road when bridges and ports comes out when we get keys back, so bear with that. There's no point fixing it twice. We'll renovate that soon. And the traffic through here is actually quite dreamy now. It was quite bad at one point, but it seems to have stabilised a little bit with traffic systems. Lots of turn lanes and relief and pedestrian pathways. And the pedestrian pathway over the bridge actually is insanely busy walking through the campus. So please do enjoy the cinematics. A massive shout out to the YouTube members and patrons that support these videos with a roll call. To our golden patron eggs, Drew Perez, Bad Wolf, Blythe, Casino, Darius Lava Roberts, Louis Adlam, Michael W, Phoenix MD, Spartan Angel, and Wesley Kip. Thank you so much indeed for all your incredible support over there on Patreon. Lots of early access and podcasts and previews and a wonderful little voice chat community to be had over there as well on the Discord. Come and hang out with us and check out Instant Gaming too while you're there. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.